Hey guys, welcome back to another CS2 video. Today, we're taking a look at some of the best gloves you can get for under $200. There are actually a lot of really good options in this price range right now, so let's get straight into it. First up, we have the Specialist Gloves Marble Fade in Field Tested, currently going for around $197. These are definitely one of the better looking pairs on the list, especially when you inspect your knife and see how much red stands out on the gloves. If you want something colorful without going too far over budget, these are a great option. Next, we have the relatively new sport gloves Frosty in Battle Scarred for around $175. These are still pretty underrated and you don't see them in-game that often. Even in Battle Scarred, I really like the combination of that soft blue with the gray. They have a really clean and unique look. For the next pair, I went with the Driver Gloves King Snake in Field Tested, currently sitting around $190. These are basically a classic at this point. They're well known, they're popular, and the price has actually dropped quite a bit compared to where they were about a year ago. If you've always wanted a pair of King Snakes, $190 is a pretty solid price. Moving on to the hand wraps, we have the hand wraps overprint in minimal wear, sitting right around $200. These are definitely one of my favorites if you can find a good pattern. They can have a really strong turquoise color, which works with a ton of different skins, especially something like a cyan Doppler knife. Next up, we have the Moto Gloves Turtle in minimal wear for around $195. What makes these stand out is that really strong green color combined with the orange details. If you're building a green inventory and want something a little different, these are definitely worth checking out. For a blue inventory, we have the Specialist Gloves Field Agent in Field Tested, going for around $183. The combination of blue with those yellow details looks really good, and these pair especially well with sapphire knives. If you're building around blue skins, this is a very easy recommendation. Sticking with the colorful options, we have the Sport Gloves Omega in Battle Scarred for around $182. These are a great choice for a yellow-themed inventory and look fantastic with knives like Law or Tiger Tooth. For under $200, I think this is a really solid pair. Next, we have the Moto Gloves Blood Pressure in Field Tested, currently around $180. These are probably one of the more popular red glove options for a reason. The red mixed with black and those subtle details makes them look really good in-game. If you want a red inventory, these are definitely worth considering. And speaking of red gloves, we can't forget about the classic Specialist Gloves Crimson Web in Field Tested, going for around $195. These are a perfect match for pretty much any red-themed inventory. And if you're using a Crimson Web knife, the combination looks especially clean. Another red option, and a newer one, is the Sport Gloves Red Racer in Field Tested, currently right around our $200 limit. I really like the color combination on these. They're definitely a bit more unusual than the classic red gloves, and there are plenty of red and black knife finishes that can work really well with them. Now for something a little more crazy, we have the Hand Wraps Caution in Field Tested, sitting around $200. These have a very unique look because the wraps almost look like warning tape wrapped around your hands. They're definitely not for everyone, but if you like unusual gloves, these are hard to ignore. The yellow and black color scheme also works really well with both yellow and green inventories. For something a little cleaner, we have the Driver Gloves Black Tie in Field Tested, going for around $190. Some people actually prefer these over King Snakes because you get that white and black combination instead of just the white. And honestly, they look amazing with darker knives like black laminate. Next up, we have the Sport Gloves Big Game in Field Tested, currently around $190. These are a really good match for brown or more rugged looking inventories. Pair them with something like a rust coat knife and the whole loadout comes together really nicely. We also have the newer Sport Gloves Blaze in Field Tested, for basically the same price, around $190. These have a pretty similar overall vibe to the Big Game, and I could definitely see them working with a brown or more earthy inventory. I honestly haven't seen these used all that often yet, so it'll be interesting to see if they become more popular over time. Staying around the $190 mark, we have the driver gloves Resound the Red in minimal wear. The softer red color combined with the gold and gray details makes these surprisingly versatile. They can work with a lot of different knife finishes, especially something like Autotronic or Slaughter. If you're a fan of Moto gloves, here's another one to consider, the Moto Gloves Smokeout in Field Tested, currently around $165. These are probably one of the easiest pairs to build an inventory around. The colors are simple, they look clean, and you can pair them with almost anything. Next, we have the Specialist Gloves Lieutenant Commander in Field Tested, going for around $160. I especially like the color combination here. There's something about the blue, green, and beige that gives them this almost beach or outdoors kind of vibe. They can work with blue, green, and even more neutral colored inventories. And if you're into knives with finishes like safari mesh, these are a really fun combination. For one of the newer glove options, we also have the Driver Gloves Hand Sweaters in Field Tested, currently around $150. That bright green color really stands out, so if you're building a green inventory, these are definitely worth a look. Personally, I think these are one of the more interesting newer glove designs. For the Hydra gloves, I went with the Hydra Gloves Case Hardened in minimal wear for around $144. Just like with case hardened knives, the pattern matters a lot here. If you find a really nice one, these can look incredible, especially when paired with a case hardened knife. Another great blue option is the Specialist Gloves Mogul in Field Tested, currently around $150. These become especially blue when you're inspecting your knife, and they work perfectly with pretty much any blue-themed skin. At this price, I think they're a really strong option for anyone building a blue inventory. We also have the Moto Gloves Polygon in Field Tested for around $155. If you like Moto gloves and you're looking for something strongly blue without spending a fortune, these are definitely worth considering. They're another really solid budget choice for a blue inventory. And finally, one of my personal favorites, and definitely one of the more underrated pairs on this list, the Driver Gloves Queen Jaguar in minimal wear, going for around $170. These can be a little difficult to build an inventory around, because not every knife or skin works with them. But if you have gold, beige, or brown colored skins, they can look absolutely incredible. Pair them with a rust coat knife or a nice yellow case hardened, and you can get a really unique combo that you don't see every game. And that's it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments which gloves were your favorite, and which pair you think should have been included on the list. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.